What's up, everyone? Andre here, and we're finally going to discuss our E3 predictions, so you can please stop tweeting at me or emailing me, Facebooking me about when our predictions are coming, because they're right here, right now. And we have a full cast today. We have Ash Paulson, Derrick Bidner, John Cartwright, and Roger from RogersBase to all give our predictions on everything Nintendo and, of course, Smash Brothers. And speaking of which, we're actually going to be splitting this into two parts. Part one is going to be Smash Brothers exclusive for the most part, and part two will follow up with everything else. But really, who cares about that? Because we are here to talk Smash right now. And I guess as a slightly broader of a lead-in to this, how are you guys feeling right now going into E3 this year for Nintendo? Like, where's your hype at? What are you excited for in a general sense even? And then we'll get into Smash afterwards. So how are you feeling right now?
The last time I've been this excited for an E3 was the 3DS year, which I think was, 2011?
2011.
Or 2010?
Yeah. Or 2010, you're right, man.
It was 2010, yeah,
wow,
it was a while ago. I have not been this excited about an E3 since then, because even with the Super Smash Bros. Game that came out in between that year and this year, which was Wii U and 3DS, that game actually got announced, I think at the 2011, in fact, I think it was at the 3DS E3 that game initially got announced. Wasn't even shown off then until like another 2 years later. They only showed off Villager, Megaman, and Wii Fit Trainer, and then it had another E3 where they showed off Palutena, the Mii's, and Pac-Man. So it had a lot of time to fester and stew, and this is the first time ever since I've been covering E3 in which a Smash Brothers game has been announced and is going to be released in the same year. So I'm fully expecting a blowout for Smash Brothers, and on top of that, there's a ton of other Nintendo stuff coming, which we'll talk about in the second discussion. So yeah, I mean, my hype levels are through the roof this time around. I'm so excited.
Real quick, Roger, touching on the point of the first time for you that Smash had been announced or released the same year, this is the first time for pretty much everyone. The only other time they've done this was for Smash Brothers Melee, and that was, what, over 15 years ago now. So This is pretty big news regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the funny thing is like, I have this weird mix of excitement, but also dread. Like, God, like just making sure, like, God, I have to keep track of all this. We have to cover all this. We don't want to miss anything. We want to make sure that we're all on the ready for it. So there is this real sense of dread with me. It's like, oh God, please let this work out. And I think that happens with me for every E3. But as far as the content's there, this is going to be a super busy E3. The funny thing is, I was actually like I thought last year's E3 was pretty good. Nintendo did quite well, but they're also like, we were pretty much done after the first day as far as getting coverage. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. There is a lot to cover. Man. There's a lot to just take a look at and go around and see. And it's not, and I think that helps because it helps that it's not just Nintendo this year. There's a lot of other companies that has Nintendo games coming out and people are actually interested in them. So I'm actually really excited for it as well. It's hard for me to gauge exactly how excited I am in regards to all of it, but I think this is going to be a good E3.
I agree. I am very excited. Like, my hype is getting really, really high for E3, and I will admit it's going to be really hard to outdo, of course, the year that Megaman was announced for Smash. That was like a banner year for me. But I'm still getting really hyped for this E3, especially because they're leading with Smash. I mean, E3 is always exciting to a certain baseline, but we're getting a new Smash this year. They're headlining with that. That is super exciting. I know Roger completely agrees with me. And yeah, I mean, I'm ready. It's going to be a lot of work, but Derrick, you touched on it. Like, last year they led with Mario Odyssey, and they only had 2 kingdoms to get footage of. So once we got the footage, we were pretty much good for Nintendo that year, but there is no upper limit on content that we can provide for Smash. There really is not for a new Smash game. So it's going to be a crazy E3, but I'm ready and I am hyped.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of surprises in store, but also a lot of leaked already. Like, Fortnite has been like the worst kept secret ever. What else? There's been Star Wars Grand Prix, which leaked a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, there's a lot of surprises, obviously, but there's also some stuff which kind of feels like old news at this point. So I hope that they present that well at least. And I like that Paladins has been announced already. Like, that's out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Right. So hopefully that happens with Fortnite too, and I just want to be blown away by games I don't even know, like I don't even expect to come. So yeah, that's my main wish for E3, just for things I don't even know I want to come into realization. Kind of like Mario & Rabbids. Like, I never thought I'd want that game, but here we are, and it's one of the best Switch games.
Oh man!
So basically, even though this is a predictions video, John, the one thing you want is something you could never predict. Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. I
mean, that is the fun of it.
That exactly, totally.
Stone Race FX coming to Smash Brothers now.
Oh God.
No, I'm right there with you, John. I'm excited, of course, but also I wonder like how much do we know already going in? Like we had the whole leak already that showed off I think 9 games playable at Nintendo's booth at least. Paladins being among them. Or presumably playable, I should say. So how cool would it be, though, John, if touching on your point of them getting Paladins out of the way, what if Nintendo just did the same thing? It's like, you know what? All the stuff that leaked, it's true. We're bringing in 9 new announcements to fill in the gaps. 9 new massive surprises.
Not sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into Smash Brothers. So I don't know how we want to do this. We want to like just give our turns, take turns giving predictions. There's so much we can touch on here. And I guess one thing I want to kind of touch on is what are you expecting for how Nintendo is going to kind of reveal Smash Brothers or touch on it? Like, do you think? We actually had a comment here from Smash Highlights on Twitter who asked, "Do you think Smash will be shown off first or last?" So what are you thinking for how they're going to actually present Smash Brothers to us?
I think it's going to be the very last thing because they said right off the bat that the Treehouse is starting with Smash coverage. So it makes sense to get everybody hyped, end it off with a big moment with showing off Smash Brothers, and then like keep that hype riding high and immediately get into gameplay with the Treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. They are well aware that Smash Brothers is their golden goose this year. I mean, it by far. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's things we don't know about, but it's Smash, so they are going to end with that last, and as Derrick said, lead right into the Treehouse Live with gameplay.
I mean, I don't think it necessarily has to just be a one showing. Like, when they revealed Smash, it came straight after Splatoon. So what if they announced characters sort of in conjunction with other games? So say, like, there's a new, like, for instance, if there's, like, a new Metroid title, that would be the great time to reveal a new Metroid character, and just kind of do that throughout the entire show, rather than just having one fixed showing of Smash.
John, I have to have you stop. I have got to stop having you on these because you always get to my points before I wanted to bring them up. I specifically wrote right here Metroid Prime 4 trailer followed by like a new Metroid character. I think I'm with you. Where I think they could be using Smash as a kind of like a tentpole almost, or like a what was that thing they called the DS? A third pillar or a Triforce, if you will. There we go. Like you start with Smash, you end with Smash, and you have a middle segment of Smash. You got Smash all over the thing.
Yeah, I actually think they're going to use Smash sort of as their directory for the Direct. I think, no pun intended. I think we're going to get... I think we're basically going to get... You know how we had those silhouettes in that first trailer?
Right.
I could sort of see it being that each character gets their own focus for each game. Because even if you look at the things that we know will probably be there, and you think about characters that are in Smash Brothers, this year there's probably going to be more information on Let's Go, which just came out a little while ago. There's probably going to be another Pokemon character. We already know Fire Emblem is coming out this year. We know nothing about Fire Emblem. Smash is notorious for adding new Fire Emblem characters. As you already mentioned, Metroid Prime. I feel like they could maybe even do like a little bit of a tease where you think it's a Metroid Prime trailer, it's CG, and then it goes into Smash Brothers. So yeah, I absolutely agree with both you and John, Andre. I think we're going to basically see Smash Brothers throughout this entire Direct. I think it's going to open strong with the character, end strong with the character, and I think we'll end up getting another character at the Invitational too.
So then, piggybacking off what you and John said, Andre, does this mean that we can expect one of these totally unexpected reveals to be Ice Climbers Remastered or Ice Climber Remastered? Because I totally think they're coming back.
I would love that. You have no idea, Ash. I've been wanting to see how they could like reinterpret Ice Climbers for years because I got it. You know, their original game kind of sucks, but the people still love the characters. So do an eShop game for them. So like do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Very, very safe prediction. I'm going to say that Ice Climbers are going to be playable in the demo, and also at the Invitational, somebody is going to play Ice Climb. Because there's a lot of melee players there, and I think they're going to be interested in finding out if they could still wobble.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. I think
For sure.
I think that's how you... Yeah, they're going to, of course, show them off, I think. I think we all agree that Ice Climbers are probably going to be returning, and it makes sense to get them out of the way. Like, just show them off. People will be hyped for them almost as if they were a new character,
Of course,
I think.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they show off Star Fox Grand Prix, they can immediately go into a wolf reveal.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to predict against that only because we were all so sure that that's what was going to happen with the marketing lead up to Star Fox Zero, and it at 150% did not happen. So I don't.
You're right. It's going to be
Ice
Slippy
Climbers are a
instead.
lock in my view. Ice Climbers are a lock. Wolf, I'm a lot less sure about, and I don't know. The Star Fox Zero tie-in didn't happen, so I'm not sure I believe that, if Star Fox Grand Prix, if it is real, if they would use that to lead into Wolf. I don't know if Wolf is coming back.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I will say it is probably more exciting if they did pepper Smash Brothers in, even if it's just returning characters.
Yeah.
And having a little
sure.
thing just to show off. Because the thing is, Andre and I have sort of gone off the ideas, more so Andre, about them changing up the movesets for a lot of these characters. So even if it's just Mario showing off what he can do now as a character in Smash, after he's showing off some sort of Mario content, that would get people excited.
You show off new Mario DLC, new Mario Odyssey DLC, then you announce, hey, Mario with Cappy here in Smash Brothers now.
There you go. There you
Exactly.
So I guess there are a few other basic points I want to get into for Smash before we fully dive into our specific predictions. I think that I'm sure we have a few of. So I want to touch on this before, or I want to touch on this again. I know we touched on it before. Is this going to be a port, or is this going to be a whole new game, effectively?
go. New game.
Yeah, new game. This is not a port.
I'm going to say a little bit of A and a little bit of B. I think it's going to be mostly a new game, but I do think there are going to be certain elements carried over from Smash 4,
Like Smash
including
Tour?
No, hopefully not. But including
Smash Run, though, would be
including
great. I'd love to see Smash Run make a return.
I would too, but I like certain things like the roster, and also not just that, but the fact that they're even calling the invitational tickets for glory and for fun tells me that there's at least some sort of crossover there in terms of the naming conventions and theming that we've seen in Smash 4. Like, they're not changing that, so that just says to me that there are going to be elements of Smash 4, but that it's not going to be a port necessarily.
I think it's going to be a new game in the same vein that Splatoon 2 is a new game, where it's based a lot off of what came before, but just expanding and improving upon it, and just putting in all kinds of ideas and just really expanding upon the features. And I think that makes the most sense for this, especially with the turnaround time and the fact that Sakurai has come out and said, yeah, I'm not killing myself over this one. I am doing a much healthier development cycle for myself, so I'm not like destroying my hands. So that's good to know.
Yeah, and I mean, also, Bill Trinen recently spoke with the Hollywood Reporter, and he had an interview with them, and he basically, they asked him, is it going to be a port or a new game? And he continued to say, well, wait and see. And yes, of course, there's something to be said for, stoking the fires of speculation, but I feel like that if it was a completely brand spanking new out-of-the-gate Smash 5, why would they not want to tease that? Why not at least allude to the fact that, hey, it's probably newer than you think? And of course, Nintendo's marketing may have a completely different idea than I do, but I feel like if it was completely new, they'd want to say something that suggests that.
I mean, but Smash has always recycled assets. I mean, since Melee, they've brought back stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this may have more recycled assets than any other Smash game in the past, but I don't think that means it's going to be a port. Because even judging off of every leak we've seen of this game, with like that Nintendo employee who used to work for Namco who said there's like a new rendering engine in the game, there's like so many things that allude to this being a new game. Even the eShop listing that just went up this morning for Smash Brothers, it doesn't say Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo Switch. It says Super Smash Brothers game for Nintendo Switch. And I think that weird little distinction says to me that this is probably going to be a subtitled game. It's not going to be in the same vein as like the Wii U or the 3DS games where the name was just for Wii U and for 3DS. And to be honest, I always thought that was sort of a pun anyway, because I thought it was like the fourth game in the franchise, so it's for the system. But yeah, I think this is going to be brand spanking new, lots of new content. And like you guys already brought up, I think certain characters are going to get revamped this time around too.
Yeah, I really like the way Derrick put it. The way you said that, Derrick, like kind of like a Splatoon 2 style, new game, but that's based very heavily on the previous one. That's kind of what I'm expecting as well. So we'll see. We don't have much time to find out.
And I actually had a full quote here from Bill Trinen, and in his response to the question of whether it's new or a port of the Wii U one, he said, the tournament is going to be designed to show quite a bit of the game in terms of modes, characters, and items. But obviously we won't show everything, and we're keeping a few surprises for later in the year. So the fact that they're showing off a lot of modes tells me that they're probably going to be new modes too, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Beyond what we've seen in any Smash Brothers
Tag
game,
team mode, please. Tag team mode. We can choose
Yes!
multiple
That-
characters
Oh, that'd be so good.
with a few styles.
Switch up mode.
Please.
It sells itself.
Please.
A proper adventure mode.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I think that would be more Treehouse Live, though, don't you think? Like, I feel like if we get a new single-player experience, that seems like the thing they would show off at Treehouse Live, and that the Invitational would focus on the multiplayer stuff.
I mean,
totally,
Yes, that's
but-
true. But
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
show it off in the Direct first.
Oh,
If
definitely.
there's a new story
definitely.
mode, yeah, that'll
Exactly.
be in the
Yeah,
Direct.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess should we start getting into specific predictions? Because I just Roger already took one, but I'm gonna take it anyway. I'm gonna reclaim it. I predict that there will be a tag team mode now of some sort in this game, whether it's switching between one character or it's stock based, like we saw at the end of Smash Tour. The one good thing that mode did, where you swap between different characters. I think there will be some kind of character switching mechanic because it's in the freaking name of the system, Switch. You know,
right.
It has to be. So there has to be some
exactly.
kind of switch, and maybe even a two-player component to it, where you can trade off with a friend dynamically throughout the match.
I agree. I think that is a definite possibility, and again, the name sells itself. So I would not expect. I would not be surprised to see that be like one of the main new gimmick modes or one of the main new gameplay modes they introduce with this game. Because I mean, yeah, the Switch characters.
Right?
It absolutely sells itself, and this is something that I think a lot of people have been wanting for a while. And Smash Tour kind of gave us an unfortunately seriously flawed take on that concept, but because they've already done it, we know that it's something that's Sakurai has thought about and done and on his mind. So hopefully we get just that component of Smash Tour, nothing else about it, just that, and flesh that out into its own mode. I think that would be perfect.
I'd be down for it. Completely.
I mean, most gimmick modes only play a few times, but I'd play the hell out of that.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they still kept coin mode around, and nobody plays that.
Right.
No, it would really add a whole new layer of strategy to the game. Both in terms of mind games, but also the meta game. It would change so much about it, or add so much about it. It would be truly great. I'd be really excited for it alone.
I do want to clarify one thing though, because I don't know who just said it, but somebody said that Coin Battle, nobody plays Coin Battle. I play Coin Battle. I like Coin
I do
Battle.
too, Derrick.
Of course you do, Roger. Of course you do.
I've
the
liked
only one,
Coin
Roger.
Battle since Melee. I've liked it since Melee. I think it's going to come back. That's a prediction right there. Coin Battle's coming back.
I'm backing you up there, Roger. I like Coin Battle too. I mean, obviously stock is my favorite, but man, Derrick, that's cold of you to just dismiss
man.
Coin Battle just like that.
You're just greedy. That's all. You just want to grab all that money. It's boring.
Oh, there you go. There's another prediction. Wario's going to be in this one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a very risky.
Wow,
prediction.
good. Really reaching there, Roger.
Andre, kind of going off of your prediction for a second, how would you feel if they instituted, like, say this mode does happen,
Yeah.
how would you feel if they instituted a Pokemon Trainer-esque mechanic where, the longer you keep a character out, the more fatigued they become? Like, maybe they'll do less knockback, very slightly, but less knockback, less damage, very slightly over the course of how long you keep them out, so you're compelled to keep switching.
Totally fine with that idea. Like whatever
Yeah.
it takes to get this idea in Smash, I'm okay with.
Nice,
And I
nice.
think even adding a little bit of an extra layer like that, or like a risk versus reward type thing of keeping like your better character out, but at the risk of losing like punching power or whatever, or strength. I think that's a good idea. Like it might add another interesting wrinkle to the tag team idea.
Yeah.
All right, who else has another prediction here?
I'm going to start off with a bold one. I'm gonna go right out there and say I do not believe there are going to be any cuts to this roster.
None.
Okay.
I don't think there are going to be any cuts.
Does Pichu count?
Oh, so I'm talking about. Sorry, I should say I don't think there will be any cuts from the Smash 4 roster.
So-
I don't think Pichu's coming back. I don't think Pichu or Young Link or none of them are coming back. But I do think.
You think Mii's are
that
coming
there will-
back?
Well, I didn't. Where's
God, I
the
hope not.
Mii's?
I know, same here.
I don't think.
Here, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Here we go. I think they're going to double down on the Mii's. I think we're getting a fourth Mii.
God.
I'm serious. I really do think this. There was a
Everyone's
video.
a Mii character.
I forgot what YouTuber did it, but there was a video where they were talking about a potential fourth Mii character being a spellcaster. And as I watched the video, I'm like, this is something Sakurai would do. Everybody expects the Mii's to be cut. Again, I think he's going to double down. I think he's going to give a fourth Mii type.
Oh, that's true.
Please no.
The only reason I think that might not happen is just because, frankly, there's no Mii maker in the Switch unless they
There
announce
is
one.
it just gets no
Well,
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like, obviously Mii's are still a big part of Nintendo's overall, brand, but they feel like they've been, their importance feels like they've been lessened.
I don't think
in
Miitopia
recent
did
years.
that well. I don't.
Exactly.
And what the mobile? I can't even remember the name of it, but the mobile Mii game is dead.
Sure.
So
Miitomo, and the fact that they just announced that you can create Mii's in a web browser now, and nobody cared. And so I don't know. I just kind of feel like Mii's have had their day in the sun, and they're still around. But I don't know if there is one cut, it would be them. But I think in terms of the rest of the Smash 4 roster, not Mii's. I think everyone's coming.
Let me ask you a question then, in terms of the Mii's, if you think they're getting cut then. On the off chance they don't get cut, would you expect them to just be one character now? With maybe like a standard moveset instead of all the custom move stuff? Where you just have one Mii moveset and then you can just change in your Mii intermittently? Because I feel like that's really important to Sakurai for there to be a character where, people bother him all the time. Like, can you put Arino Kacho from Game Center CX in Smash Brothers? Could you put Rihanna in Smash? He's going to be like, enough, all right? No Arino Kacho, no Rihanna. Here's your Mii character. Enjoy. I don't know. I feel like they're just really important to Nintendo history that I can't see them getting cut. If anybody's getting cut, I would guess it'd be someone like Dark Pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
I think the clones would be the first to go. If there are going to be cuts, I think Lucina, Dark Pit, and Dr. Mario would be the first to go. But even them, I don't really think they're going anywhere. Because, Lucina, just Lucina herself, she's so popular. And just the fact of giving her a slot on the roster, even if she is mostly a clone of Marth, that makes Lucina fans happy. Why would you... The work is already done on the character. Why would you just take away Lucina and then piss off Lucina fans for no reason,
Well, that's exactly why.
Are there actual... I was going to say, though, are there actual Dark Pit fans? Like, is anybody actually really a fan of Dark Pit?
No.
I would be if he wasn't a Pit clone. I like the character. I wish he wasn't a Pit clone. They could do so much more with him. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of clones can be repurposed. Like, we have Olimar who has an Alf skin, or Bowser Jr. with all of his Koopaling skins. Mm-hmm. So I don't see why Dark Pit couldn't just be a Pit skin.
Great point.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm actually not a huge fan. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm not a huge fan of having different characters as skins with no other differences. So I'd rather them either... I think it'd be cool if they actually just made them their own characters and give them their own, distinct movesets, actually. Or, I don't know, maybe... I kind of agree with you, John, though, on the other hand. Like, Dark Pit should be just a skin, right?
I agree with you, Andre. Like, it would be ideal to have every character be their own completely fleshed-out fighter.
Right.
But I think there are some instances which, it makes more sense just to have them as an alt, like Peach and Daisy. Like, we really don't need, in my opinion, Daisy as a fully fledged, but I think Daisy is still important enough to warrant having a Peach alt.
Yeah, it's a case-by-case basis, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, you want a bold prediction here, then. Because I'm going to kind of... hop on that prediction a little bit and agree that I think we won't really have any cuts besides maybe Mii's. I'm not too sure about them. However, I don't think we'll have them all at once. I don't think we'll have every character in the game from the get-go. And I think they'll do a rollout like they've done with ARMS, Splatoon, and a few other games now, I think, where they'll dole out characters over time, and I think bringing back some of the past cast, some of the returning characters in that way would be a good way to maintain hype or interest in the game for the subsequent months.
Andre stealing my idea too, man.
Oh,
that's
I literally had that. I had that written down on my notes right now. Is I think they're going to do a rollout with the characters similar to ARMS, and I'm going to go one step further. I think that is also going to be how they end up putting in a meaty single-player campaign, because Subspace Emissary took a lot of time. Like Sakurai even mentioned, it took up so much development time, and I think if they want to roll out a single-player campaign, what they could do is maybe launch with the first 5 episodes of it or something on the actual cartridge when you get it, and then you could play through it with the characters that were in the base roster. But as new characters are added to the game, they add new episodes including those characters, because some of the characters were kind of left out of the story in Brawl. Like, there were a lot of characters who were added last minute and didn't really have anything to do in the story. Like, Sonic's a perfect example. They took a really long time to put Sonic in there, and so he just shows up at the end in the final boss against Taboo. So I could see them rolling out a single-player campaign with all the new characters and the DLC characters, and then finally, when they're done with it, similar to what happened with ARMS, where they were finally finished with it and they added in the last little bits in the gallery, I could then see them adding sort of like a final episode where all the characters come together and interact with each other.
Mm-hmm. Counterpoint to the characters, I think ARMS needed it, because it's a new IP, and it needs to have that attention at all times. So it always needs to have news stories saying there's a new character in ARMS, so people can go and play it again, or even pick it up. I'm not sure Smash entirely needs that, because people were sold day one already.
I don't think it doesn't need it. Not only that, but I feel like just the optics of having, we just had Smash 4 that had 58 character roster, and then the optics of then, 3 years later, launching with a Smash 5 that has a gradual rollout and starting with, say, 20, 30 characters. Then you have the Street Fighter 4 to 5 effect, where players were understandably pissed off that you had this incredible roster in Street Fighter 4 spanning the entire history of the series, and then you get Street Fighter 5 and it's 16 characters, and it's oh, what happened here? So,
but had they announced all the others would be coming later on?
Oh, I mean, and they have added characters since. Yeah. I mean, now now it's at 30, 32.
Was that known at the get-go, though?
It was known at the get-go. Yeah, it was known that there would be more characters being rolled out, but people still felt, in general, that there was a lack of content there in terms of only launching with 16 characters.
And it wasn't like ARMS where it was free to get those characters. It was absolutely DLC. And again, I don't agree with it. Like, I think I can see them being unlockable, but I do not see them rolling out a gradual set of characters. All the characters are going to be in there from the start, outside of maybe DLC characters that get added in later. There is no way they're doing a gradual rollout of characters.
Well, the reason why I think it might make sense is that they're changing the characters more than just porting them over from the Wii U one. They are actually changing, adding moves, tweaking moves, changing the balance. I think that's how you do it, because as you touched on, Ash, this roster is kind of ridiculous in size, and they're adding more characters to that. So I don't know if it's realistic to expect all of them to be here from day one.
I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. That's true. I don't know. I feel like the optics of a character, or of a series like Smash, which is known for packing in as many characters as possible and pushing the upper limit of that roster number.
I think if you announce the 30 to 40 characters there from day one and more coming later for free, I don't think...
That's true. I think it does depend on... Yeah, you're right. It depends on the ratio. If we launch with 15 to 20 characters, that would be bad. But I feel like that's a good point. If we launch with 30 to 40 base characters in the roster, and then we have the others rolled out, I could see that maybe.
Well, I think that's probably what's going to happen. I do think the roster will probably be like 30 or 40. I expect 20 in the demo, to be honest. I think the demo we're going to see at E3 will probably have like 20 characters, because the Wii U one had 15. And I don't know, I feel like at this point we don't really know a lot about it, and if they're bringing over characters from the Wii U game into this one, it'll be easier to have that many more characters on that base roster. But I think in terms of the characters that they end up rolling out, I think it'll be characters where the competitive fan base maybe had issues with those characters, and so they could take a little more time to sort of like see how the balance of the game plays out when they first release it, and then as the game continues to develop, they can go, okay, we're going to finally put this character back in there. Like, I think... Maybe characters like Lucas, as unhappy as I would be, because I love Lucas. I'm sure you guys saw my live reaction. I cried when he got announced. But, like, I think a character like Lucas might not necessarily be in that base roster, but I also don't think he'll be paid DLC. I think we're going to see a separation of some characters that are rolled out for free, similar to something like an Overwatch and ARMS. And then I also think we're going to get paid DLC characters later on down the line.
Now, my only counterpoint to that is Sakurai has gone on record several times basically confirming that he could not give less of a crap about what the competitive sect of the community thinks. So why would that change now?
No, because if you look at sort of like the changes that he made to Smash 4, it's clear he was paying attention to the Japanese community.
True.
And even if you look at the way they're marketing this game comparatively to all the other ones, like even the announcers that they had for this one, they brought on Vish as one of the invitational announcers, who's like a very well-known Melee announcer. They brought Mango in for the invitational, who is a very prominent Melee player, does not play Smash 4 at all. They have the whole highlight on Nintendo Versus now. They've been promoting a lot of the tournaments with Smash Brothers on Nintendo Versus, so I do see them really pushing this in the same way they've been pushing Splatoon and ARMS.
Yeah, well, no, I think that Smash is definitely becoming an esports fixture for them. Of that, there is no doubt.
Right. So you're saying wave dashing is back, right?
Please, God. Please, God. No.
All right, new prediction time. Who's up?
I'll go. I think we're going to see 3DS content here. I think we're going to see remastered stages.
Yes.
And actually get stuff like Magic Hand and the F-Zero stage and whatever.
Paper Mario.
I played so
Paper
little.
Mario.
It's Paper Mario, based it off Color Splash,
Yeah.
not Sticker Star. Stuff like that. I think there's a lot of good stages that they could bring over to this, and people would really enjoy them, because I really like some of those stages. I just did not like playing 3DS. And as just to jump off that, because you guys mentioned it as well, Smash Run is I totally see Smash Run coming back,
With
being
online.
improved, expanded upon, and just made the mode it was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be online now, guaranteed.
Yeah, it'll actually, hopefully Smash Run, assuming it comes back, and I too think it will, hopefully it'll actually be what it should have been the first time around and really fully realize its potential.
Everyone playing in the same world.
Exactly, and like not in their own instances, but they can actually interact with each other.
So, Derrick, do you see the 3DS stages being remade, or do you think they'll just bring them in, kind of like how they do with the N64 stages and the Melee stages and so on?
I think they'll be remade. I don't think they're gonna just bring them in like the old Melee and 64 stages, just because I think they'd look a little rough otherwise, and not quite as immediately. Like the F-Zero stage would probably be the one that would fare the best, just because of its style. But
Sure.
I think it'd be way more impressive to see Magicant in all its glory, or the Spirit Tracks and how have the train go by. I feel like at least maybe not quite to the standards of the other Smash stages, but definitely an upgrade, sort of like what we see for the 3DS content that we in Definitive Edition of Hyrule Warriors.
Right.
That kind of upscale.
And to kind of piggyback off that, I agree with you, Derek. I think they're going to be remade, but with the exception of, I also do think that the stages they took from past games but only put in Smash 3DS for some reason, like Corneria, which is obviously a stage that's better suited to consoles, I do think they're going to bring some of those into Smash Switch as well, but those will not be updated anyway. Those will look like they initially did, much like the Smash 64 stages we got as DLC.
John, you got a prediction for us?
Yeah, I think Ridley's finally going to make it in.
Ooh.
And his amiibo is going to be the size of Detective Pikachu.
I agree 100%. Yep.
I want it the size of the Guardian from
That'd be amazing.
That would be
Breath of the Wild.
fantastic.
With giant foldable wings,
man.
that would be perfect.
Foldable wings, posable tail.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
Oh wait, actually, what about, there was that giant Yarn Yoshi amiibo that they did as well. It could be that size.
Yeah.
That's true.
Your Yoshi size in real life translate into Smash Brothers.
I'm just imagining now a giant Yarn Ridley plush that I could put on my bed.
Oh, I would love that.
great.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
So Yarn Ridley confirmed for Smash is what we're all saying.
I love it. Perfect.
Very cool. No, come on. We all know which version of Ridley's going to be put in Smash. It's going to be the animatronic Ridley from Nintendo Land, naturally.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Yep. No, I think you're right, John. And there are many reasons we could go into that I don't want to say too much for reasons I don't want to give away quite yet. You'll find out this weekend, I think. But yeah, I think it's time for Ridley to get into Smash Brothers. See, he's been in literally every game so far in some way, and Metroid needs another representative. So what better character than Ridley, who's appeared in almost all of them?
Yeah.
In some form or another. I mean, I think it could work. There's ways they could make it work, and
I mean, all of them are
shift him
works.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them are
Yeah.
the size of a quarter, and he works in Smash.
What's the...
Yeah, no.
That's also
Are we
true.
allowed to talk Samus Returns spoilers in this at all? Has it been like
We
okay?
can
Yeah.
now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because
Just a quick warning about it.
yeah, quick warning. I just wanted to say this. Obviously, Ridley's at the end of that game, and the way they designed him, he's a little bit smaller than he normally is. He's about three times the size of Samus in that game, whereas normally he's like this gigantic dragon. And so, if they're going
Right.
to go with some new version of Ridley, I could see them using that version from Samus Returns, which is slightly smaller. Bowser's been bigger than that in some of the iterations that Bowser's been in. But
true.
additionally,
Galaxy.
I think we could even see, like I said, a CG Metroid Prime 4 trailer that we think is Metroid Prime 4, and you see Samus fighting Ridley, but it actually turns out to be a Smash Brothers trailer. And in fact, that's how I think they're going to announce
awesome.
Ridley. I think it'll be in a trailer that we think is Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, and just to chime in for a second, I do also agree, John. I'm kind of part of the crowd that really could not care less whether or not Ridley ever gets in. I'm just not part of the
have
hardcore
no
Ridley
heart.
crowd. However, I'm not against Ridley, and I do agree with you. I think it's time. I think it actually is going to happen. So I think we're
Upcoming
probably
video
all in agreement.
spoilers.
Break it up, you two.
I didn't say anything about that, so I'm just saying.
I do want to jump off of something that John mentioned with his prediction, which is Amiibo, and yeah, I totally predict an entire new Smash Amiibo line.
I think so too, but I also feel like I feel like even Nintendo's realizing kind of Amiibo are on their way out. Like there's been fewer Amiibo, less support for Amiibo in general. So I think we will get a new line of Amiibo. I don't know if we'll get every character though again.
I actually think it's going to be an
Yeah.
expansion of the Smash lineup, especially if they're going to bring back all the characters. I could maybe see them re-releasing some of the Smash Amiibos from the Wii U era, but also create new Amiibos for the new characters. Like maybe we'll get a Champion Link version of the Smash Brothers Link amiibo, or we'll get like an
we'd have
Inkling
to.
one. Like, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be every character in the game, especially if they're bringing everybody back, because I don't think anybody really wants like a new Dark Pit amiibo or a
Exactly.
new, you know, like there's
Right.
going to be
That's-
certain. We keep ragging on Dark Pit during this discussion, but I feel like he's a really good example of, you know, a character that maybe they're not necessarily going to create a lot more for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just go to the P2 route with like they did with Bayonetta and Cloud and Corrin.
Yeah. I mean, they could do that.
That's true. And I kind of agree. I don't think they're going to have, like, every new character again. There's no way. But I do think we could see some veterans getting a retooled amiibo, and I don't only just mean, like, Champion Link. Even veterans that aren't changed that much, because we can assume that every character, veteran and newcomer, is going to have new key art for them. So, they're going to have new poses and things for the new Smash games. So even Mario or Pikachu or Kirby, their art's going to look different, and that would, for those popular characters, I think that would justify creating new amiibo for them. But I agree, I don't think we're going to see that for every character, not even close.
All right, Ash, do you have another prediction for us?
I'm predicting that there's going to be a much more significant single-player campaign. I absolutely think that there's going to be a better single-player component in reaction to fans not really loving the single-player content in Smash Wii U and 3DS because there was not much to speak of.
It is a little bit weird in that Subspace Emissary really wasn't a good mode, but I respected it, and with it not being in Smash 4, it felt like Smash 4 was kind of missing something, even if it was a bad, broken mode. But
yeah, and I never want to see the return of Subspace Emissary, ever, but I would love to see, the return of something like Melee's Adventure Mode, but expanded and just, with new layers and just made more interesting in various ways. But I do think that there's going to be a more significant single-player component in this game, no matter what form that takes.
How about this? Instead of Subspace Emissary, we get Subcon Emissary.
That I am
with Wart
200% there for.
Playable Wart, I want.
That's actually something.
Yes.
Didn't we talk about this on a discussion previously in regards to who the quote-unquote main bad guy of this one's going to be? Because we had Taboo and Brawl. I always kind of leaned more towards Hades being the new final boss of the single-player mode.
Please.
He already breaks the
That'd
fourth
be
wall a
amazing,
lot.
Roger.
He's a Sakurai
Please,
character.
yes.
I could see it where you have the battle against Master Hand in classic mode, and then it pulls away in level 9 or whatever, and then you see Hades is actually wearing the gloves, something similar to that. But to go along with what you were saying, if it was Subcon, then they could have Wart as the final boss. I think that's something that Smash hasn't really done, despite Subspace Emissary. He made all these new characters for Subspace. Even with Smash Run, they ended up introducing a bunch of well-known Nintendo enemies, but there were still those nameless, heartless-looking characters. And it's we don't need this. Even with the custom stages that they had, it was all just generic, whatever, kind of items that you could throw into your stages. Fully utilize the fact that you have every Nintendo license at your disposal, and for these modes, where either it's an adventure mode or Smash Run or whatever, utilize the entire Nintendo library of characters. It's one of the richest in all of video games. Use it!
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Alright.
I want it.
Derrick, that sounds like you have another prediction.
I mean, this is kind of duh, but I think we're going to get a name and release date revealed.
For sure.
Today.
Well, okay, here's a better prediction, or rather, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Derrick. When is it coming out?
September.
What day? You got to give an exact. I have an exact date written here. I'm not letting you off the hook.
Nice.
Hold on. Let me get at the calendar. Look up a Friday for this. September 14th.
Okay, Andre, what's your
I want
release
money
date?
if I get that right. By the way,
We got to go through the whole list in Discord order. What is the exact release date? We're doing it now.
Oh man, I like it. All right, hold on. You gotta bring my calendar too.
All right.
All these Fridays.
I already have my calendar open, so I'll start.
Fine, go ahead,
good.
Ash.
Okay, September
If you take my days,
21st.
swear to God. Okay, good. All right. Which day? September 21st?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going October 26th.
I'm also going October. October 12th.
Okay.
And I'm with Ash. I think it's September 21st, and I also think that's going to be the release day of the online, the Nintendo Switch Online.
and that's my prediction as well. Smash is coming out the same day as the online.
And what's funny is I didn't used to think that, but now that we know that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are definitely Nintendo's big November games, I kind of think, I think we may actually see Smash by September. So I'm actually reverting from what I originally thought was going to happen and saying I'm going all in on September.
All right, fair enough. I'll hold my October prediction, but I think it's clear as either September or October. It's a 2-month window.
Yeah.
It's coming out sometime then, and I would generally, I used to lean right for the day of the Nintendo Online. I'm not so sure though now. I don't know if it has to launch day and date with it. I think they can launch it, let the potential bad press get out of the way first. Let people get used to it. Then you announce, or then you release Smash Brothers, and that brings in everyone who wasn't already pulled in initially.
Well, plus everyone's going to be busy playing Balloon Fight and Ice Climber online.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Killer apps.
Doing research.
Real talk, though, this is kind of off topic. If they do online ice hockey, I'm actually down for that. Ice hockey would be one that I think they would be amazing on.
Roger, I will totally play you online.
We're doing it. It's a new video series. It's
I
happening.
love ice hockey.
All right, that should be a Smash stage.
Dude, Dude, put
Like a
the
nice
put the
ring.
Totally
ice
should.
hockey trio in Smash Brothers as a retro rep.
Hey,
Dude.
oh, that'd be
And
something.
that
the
would be
hockey
sick.
ring would be incredible.
They hit the puck back and forth to each other, and that deals damage.
so
Oh
good.
man, you can't knock over the fat guy.
Oh man. All right. Well,
So
since we're
good.
talking about online there a little bit, my prediction is that they'll focus. There will be an online focus in this one, which I don't think they've done too much before. I guess they had the For Glory and for fun stuff before, but I think they'll really double down on online this time. Show off new modes, new ways of enjoying it, including like an ARM style type lobby setup, where you play with random people that groups with you, in different matches. I love the whole setup. And to top it off, there will be a demo for Smash Brothers.
Oh god, yeah.
Test
Oh,
punch.
yeah.
They've done it for
yeah.
They've done it for almost every big game recently. Every big online game, even non-online games like Sushi Strikers now. And yeah, I think Smash will continue that.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Andre. Is this demo? Is this something you think is going to come out like during E3 or later on,
No,
like
no, no,
July,
no.
August?
No.
Definitely
later
not
on.
during E3.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, I think we already know it won't be out during E3. They already said we know it'll be playable at E3. It'll be playable at the Nintendo World Store. What
Right.
will be the point of going to the store if you can play it at home?
Right.
So
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, granted, not that it wouldn't be there anyway, but I think
Yeah.
it will come within a few weeks to a month, or a month or two of the actual game's release.
In fact, I'm gonna
Cool.
make a prediction for when we get it. I think it's gonna be in August, and I think they're gonna do the same thing they did with 3DS, which was that even though the demo for Smash at that E3 had like 15 characters, the original 3DS demo only had 5. Right? It was Villager, Mega Man, Pikachu, Mario, and Link. I think they'll probably do
Right.
the same thing for whatever this Tench Punch is gonna be. And I think it's gonna be in August. Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Makes
I
sense.
can't wait. That's close.
Yeah, it's very
Man,
close. I know.
Yeah.
I'm more close to Smash Brothers. That's a crazy thing. It's almost
And,
here already.
and the craziest thing is we know nothing. We literally
We haven't even seen
know nothing.
Yeah.
So
We haven't seen it, and it's almost here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've not seen
Yeah.
a single bit of gameplay
Yeah.
yet.
yeah.
It's a completely different Smash hype cycle than we've ever experienced
really
in the
is.
sense that it's really like a few months as opposed to like 3 years, or it's like, or 2 years, I should say.
I
But
mean,
like,
does
yeah,
that
it's
does that just increase the hype? Like, does it take the 3-year cycle, just condense it into like a 4 or 5 month period?
It does and it doesn't. Like, yes, I'm glad the hype cycle is shorter this time, and it definitely is condensed, and that's awesome. But I will say that I feel like there's never going to be anything quite like the Smash 4 hype train ever again. Just the way that the drip feed of content and reveals was
wasn't Brawl
scheduled.
pretty close?
I was
too?
gonna say the
was
dojo
close.
is
Brawl was
literally
probably
what
more
It was
kickstarted-
close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dojo was
and I think the
amazing.
Dojo did it first, obviously, but I do think that the Wii U and 3DS's hype train did it better.
You know why?
And I just don't know if we're gonna get that again.
You know why, Ash? Because we were there for the hype train.
No, but
Yeah,
you
exactly.
joke, Andre. You joke,
Exactly.
but I actually do believe that. I think the rise of YouTube and like reactions and seeing what people's thoughts are actually did increase the hype levels. I really do
I
feel
think-
like YouTube played a big part in that because
I think
the
you're right,
dojo
yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Getting to check up on that every day, you'd get like new character announcements. They were little blog posts. They went on for like a year. I mean, the dojo was really, really revolutionary. And if you remember the
was.
pick of the day with Smash Brothers, that was all just like one picture on Miiverse. They were nowhere near as robust as the updates that we got for the dojo.
Yeah, he had whole books published with some of those updates
Yeah.
on the dojo. Yeah.
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 Who's got another prediction?
I've actually
for
got
us?
a very specific one, so I'm gonna go in. I got a
Yes.
couple very specific ones. I'm gonna throw them all in because they're small. These are little bite-sized
All
ones.
right.
One of the big stages that we're gonna see during the Invitational is going to be a Splatoon stage, and the Splatoon stage is going to be tournament legal. There's going to be something with the Splatoon stage that they're going to focus on because the Invitational is the same day as the Splatoon World Tournament, and obviously Inklings are one of the new characters, so I think they're really going to want to show that off, especially because Splatoon is so popular in Japan. So that's one of the predictions. Another one, Smash Run is coming back, but it's not going to have online. Everybody's going to expect
What?
online. It's not going to be
Oh,
online.
man.
It's only going to be local only, but you can actually interact with the characters on the screen. So it's going to be basically like a local only city trial, but it's not going to be online. And so it's a disappointing prediction, but I wanted to make the prediction now. And then the third
I respect it.
little bite-sized lightning round prediction that I'm going to make is that if you guys remember, during the data mine of Smash 4, Smash Bros. 64 was found as a masterpiece within the Wii U version of the game. Because next year is the 20th anniversary of Super Smash Bros., the game originally came out in 1999, I think he's going to include Smash 64 in its entirety, without a time limit, as a masterpiece within this version of Smash Bros.
That'd be amazing.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
I love that idea. Oh, that would be. I mean, yeah, like who's gonna buy it after owning this one,
Right.
right? Why not just package it in?
And I don't
Even though
think
love
it's something
original,
we'll see at E3, even during like the Treehouse. But I think that's something that if they ever end up doing like a 50-fact direct or a pre-release like big just Smash Brothers direct, they will end up showing it there. But I feel really confident that's going to be in this.
I love the idea. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's
but I
fine.
do love the
That's fine.
idea.
Come back to me.
I
Come
do
back
too.
to me in September, man. That's fine.
I hope I do, man. I hope I do. Well, I'm going to kind of hop on that a little bit because you mentioned the tournament legal stage, and that reminded me of how many stages aren't tournament legal, and I think I'm predicting this might finally be the time we get a gimmick toggle for the stages, where you can finally turn off all the random crap in some of them if you don't want it, and you can just play it as just the stage layout itself.
I think we'll get a version of that. I don't know if we'll get a hazard toggle, but I do think, I don't think we'll get like a everything toggle, but I think we'll get a boss toggle, like things that would turn off Ridley or Yellow Devil or
It only
things like.
affects those 2 stages.
That's that's true. I guess I don't know if it would, because then why not just have Omega mode? I mean, you
was a huge difference.
preserve the totally. I know, but I mean, I don't know if they would give you the ability to turn off all hazards, because then there's almost no point.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. I mean, I like consider look at Battlefield and Final Destination. They both have no gimmicks, and they
Sure.
both play completely differently because of the platform layout.
Yep.
Well, I agree. I actually feel we might be saying the same thing in different ways. I've long thought there would be a boss toggle. I just didn't really think about it being an overall hazard toggle. But yeah, so I guess we're
think
probably
people-
saying the same thing in different ways.
We might be. I mean, I think people wanted. I mean, even before bosses existed, people wanted a gimmick toggle.
You're
So-
right. Yeah, so we're probably saying the same thing then.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some stages where you couldn't apply it as strictly. I mean, obviously, like touring stages, you're still gonna be flying around and change locations. So it depends how strictly you think of the hazards, I suppose. But
Sure.
I think if you take Kirby's Dream Land, for instance, or Dreamland rather, you could turn off Wispy Wood's air blowing thing, for instance, his breath. So
Right.
Yeah. Kind of going off that, I do think we might see a change in the Omega mode, because I saw a lot of people be like, no, we don't want it to look like Final Destination, we want it to look like Battlefield. Battlefield is more interesting.
Or what if Omega mode returns and just the new Omega mode is what Andre is saying, basically, that
That
it
is also
preserves
true.
the stage layout, but it just
That'd
turns
be
off
cool.
hazards. I would actually really prefer that, I think.
would you Ridley prefer it?
Yes, I
That
would
was
Ridley
okay.
prefer
That
it
was
as well.
that was a bit of a stretch. That was a bit of a stretch. That was
Hi,
honestly.
Roger. It's nice to meet you.
I was just gonna say that's about as much of a stretch as Springman's arms, man. I think you gotta take a step back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got another prediction.
Go for it.
I do not think we're going to see the return of custom specials. I don't think they made much of a splash. I don't think people really liked the way they were implemented into Smash 4 in general, and I don't see them coming back.
I agree. In fact, I'm
hope
gonna
not.
add to that. I'm gonna add to what you just said. I think certain characters have really great custom specials, and I think as a way of reworking the character, he will end up giving
Please.
certain characters those customs.
Palutena.
Let me tell you right now.
Palutena.
Well, Palutena's
Oh, God, she needs
Palutena will need it for sure. The one I'm thinking of off the top of my head is Megaman, because the Leaf Shield does nothing. The Leaf Shield does nothing.
Yeah.
Give him one of the other customs. They're all great.
Well, this is getting into a whole nother thing, but I've been saying for a while that I think there's a chance we might get Megaman's redesign from Mega Man 11 and potentially a special move from Mega Man 11 just to kind of tie in that marketing. And I've already said, replace the Leaf Shield with a block dropper. It makes sense as a down special. Blocks are falling. Done. There you go.
Like it.
All right, John. Do you have another prediction for us?
I do. So, Konami have been away for a while, and in 2016 they didn't really release anything. In 2017, though, they did Bomberman and Metal Gear Survive, which people don't remember that last one, but Bomberman made quite a splash. And it sounds like from E3 listings that Konami are going to have more of a splash at this year's E3. So I'm thinking that they're going to be all in on Smash, and not only will Snake return, but I think maybe one or two other new characters from Konami can return. Can make a debut as well. And Simon Belmont's the first one that comes to mind. He's an icon of the NES era.
Absolutely.
Unique weapon.
And he's he's a character people have wanted for a very long time. So yeah, I think this is the best way to incorporate Konami's comeback by bringing them into Smash and then sort of just embracing them in other ways too, like new games.
Simon Belmont could work very well as a Smash character.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
with all of
totally.
his sub weapons, the way he can use his whip, his recovery could just be the whip. Like, what was the? It was Zero
Link,
Suit Samus
probably.
that recovered like that.
Oh,
Speaking of Samus
yeah.
too, I think it'd be amazing just
Oh,
to
no, it
have,
was, Olimar.
it'd be
Excuse
amazing
me.
to have Simon meet Samus. It's like Metroidvania has become its own genre among the indie community. It'd be so neat
That
to
would be
actually
amazing.
have Samus and Simon against each other.
This is why we
That's
need a
perfect.
story mode, right?
Dude, yeah, totally.
This needs
Yeah.
to happen. We need, that needs to be
The question is, would it be Simon or would it be Bomberman? Because Bomberman did do so well last
In
year.
the words of the famous internet meme, why not both?
that is
that's
true.
true.
Yeah.
Or is there a chance, if not Simon, could it be Trevor? Just because that's really the angle the anime is taking. It's a Castlevania 3 adaptation, so possibly.
I think they go
design-
Simon.
I
He's the
agree
iconic
personally.
one.
I just was
Simon
throwing
feels
that out.
more
but
iconic.
I agree. And by the way, I do agree with you, John. It does feel like there's a groundswell around Konami right now. Like maybe they're finally finding the plot again, as it were. And so I do feel like Konami's going to be all in on Smash, and it's weird to think, but maybe Snake might actually come back. It's hard for me to go all in on that, but I do 100% think Simon or another Konami character is coming. But Snake
So,
maybe as well.
With Snake, are we picturing classic David Hayter MGS2 Snake, or are we picturing Kiefer Sutherland MGS5
please
Snake?
no.
I
it
only
has
know
to
one
be-
snake. There's only one snake that lives in my heart.
No, yeah, it's got to
Please be
like,
MGS2.
Yeah, it's got to be that. Or I feel like the Snake in Brawl was kind of almost like an amalgamation of MGS2 Solid Snake and MGS3 Naked Snake. It,
Oh,
just
for
the
sure.
way, yeah. So I like that is kind of what I think Snake should be in Smash. If they come back with its, if he comes back and he's MGS5 Snake, I don't.
Dude, the
don't think that's
idea
gonna be
of
very
a
popular.
tournament legal Metal Gear Solid game makes me salivate. Like, I want that so... not a game, I mean a stage. I mean, like, a tournament legal Metal Gear Solid stage would be so good. Because I actually really do love Shadow Moses Island, and I actually think it was a
Yeah, it was a
counter
good
pick
stage.
for a while. But, man, I want a tournament legal Metal Gear stage. With all the music playing in the
Man,
background.
a Castlevania stage with all the Castlevania music.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A Smash remix of Vampire Killer, please.
Or even with
Oh,
Bomberman,
yeah.
you get like a remix of Redial from Bomberman Hero. Oh, please.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've long argued that Bomberman, I think, deserves or could be right alongside. He'd be a perfect fit for Smash, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think now's kind of the time. Like Konami does seem to be on an upswing. Like it seems like they are kind of turning around their image a little bit, week by week or month, year by year, maybe even.
Slowly, very, very slowly.
So I think there's a good chance Bomberman may be here. He could be this game's third-party retro character, kind of like how Pac-Man was in 4.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. All right, I'll group a couple predictions here, but some of them are kind of boring. In terms of stages, I think we'll get a Breath of the Wild stage. I'm guessing it'll be a touring stage. I don't know. I wanted to get to New Donk City, though. I think we'll see a New Donk City stage in the style of the Animal Crossing ones, where there's a day and night cycle based on real time, and if you play at night, then you get the New Donk City Festival. And on top of all
Oh,
this,
yeah.
speaking of stages, there'll be a revamped stage builder that's not garbage, and will come with like a
Now
toy
you're
box.
expecting way too much.
Yeah, that's a dream prediction, man. That's,
It's going to come
Yeah.
with a toy box that has assets full of elements from other stages you can throw into your own custom creation. Like, you want to bring Wispy Woods in there? Sure, why not?
I like the idea. It's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
That's not happening. I don't
To
think
go
so.
back to your new Donk idea, if Pauline's in this game as a playable character,
She won't.
who would replace her in the festival?
Alfonso, of course.
I like it.
I want
I mean, I can't even think of anyone, but I don't think
Yeah.
she'll be playable. So
to. Yeah.
straight up,
I can't imagine Pauline playable, but it would be amazing.
it'd be amazing. I'd be on board with it. I don't think it's
I'm
happening.
going to counter your stage prediction, though, Andre. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I think the Odyssey stage is going to be none other than the Odyssey. I think the Odyssey is going to take off and go around the globe and land in each of the kingdoms, and then you fight, and then it picks up and it goes around the globe once again, and eventually ends in New Donk City before the cycle restarts.
Maybe.
That'd be cool. Hey, I'm
It'd be
down
a
with
cool
that.
way to actually play. Have a fighting section on the dragon.
Oh,
would be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
true. That's true. That would be really
That
cool.
would be, yeah.
And flying through the clouds would be a perfect transition for it to load the next area.
Exactly,
In
exactly.
the memory. So I could see that. I could see that.
Fly
working. I
over
mean,
Delfino Plaza but not go there.
Oh, my God.
Perfect.
that'd be amazing.
I do think the Splatoon, like you talk about gimmicks for the other stages, the Splatoon stage is definitely has to be one of the hub worlds, and there's going to be some form of Splatfest represented.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe that is too close to my New Donk City idea, so they may not do both. Have the festival and
Yeah.
the Splatfest.
I'd be wild to see the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook doing a concert in the background.
And that could be their way for going around the I almost forgot what it was called, the Miiverse stage from Wii U. It's been so long since
it would be a
Miiverse.
way.
But you know how there were like the little messages that appeared in the background? That would sort of be a way to get
Yes.
around that, is they could just have the messages appear in the Inkopolis hub or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really
I want
good
that
idea.
so much. Yeah.
It's a great idea. And then
That'd be
Ash
the
could
perfect way to spoil. Exactly. I was just
Yeah,
about to say
that
the
can
same thing.
Ash could
spoil Game of
the
Thrones
final
for
Game of
Andre.
Thrones episode for me again.
Yeah.
I remember Mario Maker and playing a stage, because that came out the same year as Force Awakens, and I remember playing through Mario Maker, and literally the first stage I got into, it said, "Oh, Han Solo's dead," and it's like, what?
It's the
Yeah.
worst.
I think Wario will remain the only character from his series still. So no Waluigi, no Ashley, no other characters from any Wario game.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
I don't see that as a bummer personally, but I do. Actually, no, I would like Mona. Mona, I would be down with. But yeah, I'm not a huge Wario fan, so I do agree, but I don't see it as a bad thing necessarily.
I would kill to have Waluigi in this game as a playable character.
Oh, I know.
Oh, totally. give him his moonwalk from Aces.
Well,
Oh,
considering
there's so much material now.
Considering
yeah.
how much Sakurai loves the history of video games, I've always thought 9-volt would be really cool.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I'd rather that stuff be stages rather than characters, or assist trophies like Waluigi already is.
Yeah.
I don't really need them as anything more.
Uh-huh.
Derrick.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got a prediction that might be a little disappointing if you're a certain type of fan. I know Etika will be disappointed by this. Well, actually, no, he'd probably love this prediction. I think we're gonna get a Minecraft stage. I think Minecraft will be represented in Smash Brothers in some form.
Well, here's a question: just a stage?
That's-
Wouldn't that be a little bit weird?
so-
Without,
Yeah, I can't
That's the
imagine
question,
it
right?
if you're gonna put in just a stage, that doesn't make
I
any
could
sense.
see
It
them
would need to
doing
be
just a
character.
stage if, and this is my crazy out there wild prediction,
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft and Nintendo have portions at each other's shows, where during the Microsoft show, you see a Minecraft stage in Smash, because that'd be small enough where they could show it off for just a little bit. And during Nintendo's, we get Banjo-Kazooie announced. And it's retro
Oh my God.
Banjo-Kazooie, N64 era Banjo-Kazooie, not the blocky nuts and bolts version, but retro Banjo-Kazooie.
So, I really hate to rain on your parade because I want that so much, but there is no way Nintendo would allow Microsoft, with their conference that happens before Nintendo's, to show off Smash in any capacity.
Oh, you're totally
or
right.
context.
It does happen before
Or
Nintendo's.
anything.
You're totally right.
It
Yeah,
does,
yeah,
so there's
yeah,
no
you're
way that
right.
would happen.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. See, shows how much I care about Microsoft's press conference.
Yeah, you're on an interesting track though, Roger, because Minecraft is one of the most popular franchises ever, and Smash is a celebration of
Yeah.
that. We have Pac-Man, we have Mario, we have Link. Why not have anything Minecraft related?
And it wouldn't also be the first time that they've done a stage without a playable character. I mean, Electroplankton is a good example of this. Pick-to-Chat. I mean, they could have
True.
stages without playable characters. People always think that you need to have the character. but-
You don't. It's true, but it's a little bit weird. I think when you're dealing with a third-party property in this case. I mean, I feel like it'd be weird to have this random stage.
Not if it's
We'll
Banjo.
get- we'll-
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
No. We're not going to get a stage. We're going to get a Minecraft trophy like Rayman, and that's
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh man.
I don't know. I mean, Minecraft is big in Japan as well. It's big everywhere. So it might be as a third party, and Microsoft has shown a willingness to have to work with Nintendo.
They straight up said they'd be
Yeah.
happy to have Banjo-Kazooie in
Yeah.
Smash Brothers. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the
But
great
it-
thing about having Microsoft in their position. They're willing to do stuff no other company would. They're willing
Yeah.
to just give people their
Unfortunately
characters.
for us, I think Minecraft is way, way, way bigger than Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
So
for
if they had the choice
Yeah.
between a Minecraft representation or Banjo-Kazooie, I think they would jump at Minecraft.
Okay, no, I got it. Here's how you fix that, John. Right?
Okay.
They already
I
had
know
nuts and,
exactly
they already
what
had
you're
nuts and bolts in this, which is kind of Minecraft-esque. You had like the bricks building each cart together, so you have Banjo-Kazooie in the style of Minecraft.
Oh my god.
Minecraft Steve.
I would actually,
No,
I would cry.
no,
It'd
I
be
would cry.
Yeah.
it'd be Steve, and then all the costumes are like, hey, this one's Master Chief, this one's Banjo Kazooie, this one's Marcus Phoenix. That's how you get your
That'd be
mind.
great.
All those. One of them be Conquer.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. I like that idea.
Oh man.
It's a really good idea.
All right. Well, I have a character prediction. I have seen some fans concerned that or speculate that Shulk might be cut. Not only do I not think Shulk is getting cut, I do think we're going to get a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 character, probably Rex, and a separate, I think Gower Plains coming back, and I think we're going to get a separate Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
I
what
agree.
would be the best
It'd be cool to have
stage.
both Rex and Pyra working together.
Yes.
Kind of like
That would be very
I'm
cool.
picturing it like Pokemon Trainer, where Pyra's sort of in the background of the stage. He's never really in the foreground, and Rex has to sort of be tethered to her in a sense, kind of like how they are in Xenoblade 2.
Or he's stronger when he's tethered.
Exactly. Yeah. So that changes the dynamic of how Rex can move around the stage. He has to sort of stay central to be the most to be more powerful.
Having Pyra in the background, sort of like that, tethered. Also being able to switch to Mithra.
Absolutely.
And
Uh-huh.
and if they for Final Smash, spoiler, you guys know exactly
Right.
what
Yeah.
I'm that.
Well, I think
man.
the thing about
Okay, I'm
this
taking
is,
my
too,
headphones out.
Sakurai.
No, I'm not.
He's
I'm not going to say what it is.
No,
I know
there's
people
no
have
way
not
he
played.
can say it. Yeah. But
Okay, good.
Sakurai has gone on record saying he loves Xenoblade Chronicles 2. He's a huge Xenoblade fan. My issue is that they might be too new of characters, and I could maybe see them missing the base roster. I think no matter what, they are going to be in Smash Switch in some way, shape, or form by the end of this game's life cycle. But I don't necessarily think they're going to be on the base roster, and I guess this is another little disappointment that I'm bracing for, because I want Pyra in the game more than like any other character. I love Rex and Pyra, I love Xenoblade 2, but I actually think we might be seeing Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X. And
No,
here's why.
no
here's
way.
why. Because Sakurai tweeted out that he was working on a character and using a mech as a model who was using a rifle. And the model that he tweeted out looks an awful lot like a Skell from Xenoblade Chronicles X. And based on the development time of this game, Xenoblade Chronicles X would have been the hot game. And so I could see them developing Elma, not expecting Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to be as big of a success as it was, and then Sakurai obviously falling in love with it and then going, you know what, I'm going to create Rex and Pyra, I'm going to make them there. Because ultimately, Elma still would represent a second side of the Xenoblade Chronicles universe, right? She's representing the side games. She's not necessarily representing the main games. And I also think that because Xenoblade is now a million-selling franchise, we could end up seeing Shulk, Elma, and Rex and Pyra all in the game.
Which would be
Yeah,
cool.
I'd be totally fine with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Elma's also obviously a woman too, which we don't really have. I mean, the Smash roster is largely male-dominated, so I'd embrace Elma being in
Yeah.
Smash.
I mean, even more
Yeah,
so,
me
just
too.
woman of color as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Which I don't know if we have anything like that, unless we get Twintel, which I'd be
I
down.
was gonna say,
Ooh,
like
Twin
Twintel,
Tail would
then
be
then we
great.
start speculating about armed characters, and then yeah.
All right. Here's a question for you guys, real quick. There has to be a new Pokemon in this game, a new playable Pokemon. Who's it going to be, and is there just going to be one?
I think Decidueye is probably the one they're going to go for, but I would like it to be an Alolan Pokemon trainer. So we have Kanto Pokemon trainer who has Charmander, Ivysaur, and Blastoise. And Charizard, sorry. I said that completely wrong. Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. And then Alolan Pokemon trainer who would have like Poplio and Torracat and then Decidueye as well. So very similar premise, but just representing an entirely different generation of Pokemon.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I think it would be very cool. I wonder if they'd go for that, and I feel like the other starter evolutions in Alola, though, Decidueye just overtook them in popularity so quickly.
What's interesting, though, is Incineroar is a lot more popular in Japan than Decidueye. Even though Decidueye is in Pokken,
okay.
And Rowlet is all far more popular than Decidueye is in Japan. So if they wanted to do that, they could potentially do an Alolan Pokemon trainer with Rowlet, Poplio's middle form, and Incineroar.
Brion.
Oh, interesting. Okay, nice.
Because I always felt that Charizard felt kind of disconnected in Smash 4 for Wii U. It just didn't feel right without all the other characters with him. And I'd like them to rectify that. Because the main reason that he was on his own was because the 3DS couldn't handle transforming characters. And now we're on Switch, I think it's a great time to bring that kind of character back.
And if the Pokemon trainer does come back, I would like to see different forms be get Leaf in there. Get the female trainer.
that'd be
from,
cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah, no, there should definitely be like trainer alts that take from various generations and have like a male and female version from specific generations.
I'm feeling pretty strongly that we're going to get 2 Pokemon this time around. I think we're going to get 2. I don't know if we're going to see them both at E3. I love the Pokemon Trainer idea. I think one of these Pokemon will probably be an Alolan Pokemon, whether it's an Alolan Pokemon Trainer or like Lycanroc or Tapu Koko or Mimikyu or something. But I think because of Let's Go and because of the sort of surge in popularity Gen 1 has had recently with Pokemon Go, I could see them actually adding Eevee and upgrading Eevee from a Pokeball Pokemon, which is what Charizard used to be, to a playable character, and basically having Eevee showcase evolution, which is such a huge part of Pokemon and isn't really in anybody's moveset outside of the Mega Evolution Final Smashes, where maybe Eevee, throughout its moveset, could work the same way that Eevee worked in the manga, where it touches a stone and turns into another Pokemon. So like, Eevee for his side special could be Flareon, down special could be Acid Armor with Vaporeon, up special could be Jolteon's Quick Attack, and you could utilize all the different evolutions, and then the final smash, no huge surprise, would be Eevee's Z move from Sun and Moon, and Eevee's one of the only Pokemon that was given a signature Z move, and it literally works exactly the same as Mega Man's Final Smash, in which all the Mega Man characters come in and shoot a beam. Eevee's is the same way. It's just all the evolutions come in, and then Eevee ends up doing an attack. So yeah, I think we could actually see Eevee and an Alolan Pokemon.
I really like the premise, and Eevee is definitely one of the most popular characters going for Pokemon right now. I mean, if you look at the Project Eevee Twitter page, that's just full of daily posts of hilarious Eevee pictures. The only problem I have with that premise is maybe it's a bit visually jarring to have Eevee switching between all these forms, especially when you have different skins as well to take into account. Like, how would you have like a red team and then have Eevee turn into Jolteon and Vaporeon when it's always changing colours? I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but I do like the premise a lot, and I think Eevee could definitely work in Smash.
I could see it. But that's a lot of Gen 1 representation.
I gotta be honest though, as somebody who's a huge Pokemon fan, I don't care. Like, I know there's a lot of people in the community who are like, I want Gen 4 and Gen 5 represented, but it's like, there are mostly Pokemon from every generation, and if we're being completely honest, the Pokemon that most people remember, like casual people who would maybe be playing Smash Brothers at a party, are the Gen 1 Pokemon. I mean, they're the most recognizable. There's a reason we already have Pikachu and Charizard and Mewtwo. Maybe not necessarily. Well, Jigglypuff was huge in the anime, I guess, so Jigglypuff too. But I think Eevee sort of is in the same vein. I think it's such an iconic Pokemon that they could throw it in there, and I don't think anyone would really complain.
And I guess with Eevee, you do get other gens in there, because that lets you get Gen 2, Gen 4, Gen 6.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm really down the middle on this, because I love your premise, Roger, and I agree that it makes sense to have Eevee in there, but kind of, John, what you were saying, there are certain wrinkles there with team colors and things like that, and I just feel like logistically that's very complicated, but again, Roger, I mean, Eevee is incredibly popular right now, and they're promoting Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It would make sense. Yeah. It's hard. I really am split down the middle on that one.
I will say, as sort of a downer prediction, I don't think we're going to get that many new characters revealed at E3.
We only had 3 at E3 2014.
Yeah.
But granted, the game had been revealed before that.
Yeah, and it was at 2 E3s. We had a total of 6 revealed at E3, with the first 3 at its first one, and the second 3, Palutena, Pac-Man, and the Mii's at the second one.
That is true.
Yeah, so I think that's actually something I have on my list. I think we're getting at least 5. And I think potentially 6 if there's one revealed at the Invitational. But I think at least 5. Yes.
6 newcomers?
And I'm
at
including,
E3?
I'll clarify, with that number, I'm including returning veterans. So if Snake or Ice Climbers or Wolf come back, I'm including them as newcomers, because they're going to be new to the game since Smash 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Snake's going to have, if Snake's in this game, he's going to have the reaction of a newcomer.
Dude,
like,
yeah,
people
they'll be
are
losing
gonna
their
be
minds. I'll
so
be for
excited
sure.
for Snake.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you're counting Snake and Ice Climber, I could see that. I don't think we're going to get 6 brand new characters.
But I mean, we already know about Inkling. We don't know how Inkling plays. So we're going to see Inkling.
I was going to say, so yeah, how much time do you think they're going to devote just to explaining Inkling? Because I feel like that's going to be a pretty involved character, unless they're taking a totally different route with that character.
Well, I could see them doing Treehouse Live segments for each newcomer, in which they show off like 10 minutes of each
That'd be a
character.
smart way to do it.
Because we're going to get into the general Nintendo predictions a little bit later on that part 2, but I think they're going to focus on a few big core games. Obviously, there was that list of third-party leaks that came out, and I think that will be that. I think there's going to be a lot of time dedicated to Smash Brothers, to introducing the new characters, the new modes, everything like that. And we already know, too, that Let's Go is going to be there and playable, which I was kind of shocked about when I heard that. I didn't think that was going to be on the show floor, but apparently it is. So,
All right, any other any more predictions?
I've got one, I think. The Switch is quite synonymous with indie games, and I feel like the whole indie scene has just turned into something else completely over the years. And one game that I think kind of started that indie spurge was Cave Story. And I think it'd be really interesting if Quote from Cave Story were represented in Smash. One reason being is Cave Story's never released on a non-Nintendo platform apart from PC. Like, there's never been a Cave Story game on Xbox or PlayStation, and the characters are fan favorite. There's a huge following for Cave Story. And I think Shovel Knight's probably the only other indie character that really stands a chance of coming into Smash as well as Quote. So yeah, I'd love Quote to be in this game.
Take everything you just said and mirror it and replace Quote with Shovel Knight. I would like Quote a lot, but I would freaking love Shovel Knight to be in this game. I don't expect it, and frankly, I don't expect any indie characters. I think that would be awesome, but I kind of see that as wishful thinking just because, I don't know. I don't know. From Sakurai's perspective, I don't know if there's compelling enough reason to introduce indie characters to the roster, even really popular ones. But I do agree that if there are any indie characters that stand a chance, it's Quote and Shovel Knight. I would like to say Shantae, but I don't think she.
Oh, I'm going to say something really unpopular. I'm going to say something real unpopular right now.
I think Shantae has a decent chance. I think she's pretty popular in Japan.
Yeah.
Is she? Okay. I mean, she's popular enough, but compared to Shovel Knight and Quote...
Here's my real unpopular thing. Because this is an indie game that is incredibly popular in Japan. Like, hugely successful. Sakurai's mentioned that he loves it, that he's played it, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch. Again, this is going to be unpopular. I know I'm going to get hate in the comments, but I think if we're going to get an indie character and it's not Quote or Shovel Knight or Shantae, I could legitimately see Sans from Undertale thrown in there, or some type of Undertale representative. That game is massive
you know what?
in Japan. There are concerts dedicated to it. Toby Fox has already gone on record saying that Earthbound is his main inspiration for it, so it already has the ties with Nintendo, and it would be a great way to promote that game on Nintendo Switch, and would obviously be a huge shock. I think the internet would implode if we got an Undertale character.
Oh, it would.
You're right, but...
No, I know. Like I said, I know it's an
yeah.
unpopular opinion. I know. But I wanted to throw it out there on the off chance that maybe there's a slight inkling that we're going to get an indie character. I wanted to throw Sans out there. All right, I'm done talking about Undertale. That's it.
No, you know what, Roger? Even though I don't think that's going to happen at all, I would be so there for it, only because just for essentially the lulz, like just to watch the internet react. If the internet can get that angry about Fortnite, if like coming to Switch, if they can get that angry about that, imagine the meltdowns that would occur over Sans or another Undertale character getting into Smash, and I would be completely
Are people
here
upset that Fortnite's coming to Switch?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
What?
They are enraged.
There's no reason. No reason
because
for
video
it.
games, basically.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it right here. Obviously my opinions don't represent GameXplain, but if you are legitimately upset that Fortnite is coming to Switch, you are an idiot. Like, you are straight up an idiot. What's wrong with you? In the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I think that represents
great.
how
Okay,
we all
cool.
feel.
We all think you're idiots then. Perfect.
Oh God.
Oh jeez.
It's a game on the Switch. Who cares? Like, I didn't hear people complain
Ignore
about
it.
Ninja Breadman. I'd much rather have Fortnite than a new Ninja Breadman, for example, from the Wii era, and all those shovelware games. Sure, let's get the maybe too popular thing that everybody's sick of. Why not?
I have one final prediction, and that is that I think after E3, and I think they're obviously going to update and really blow out the Smash Brothers website, with the E3 reveals, and then after, I think we're going to see something like we did with the Smash 4, hype train, but super condensed, where Sakurai will start. I don't know if it'll be daily updates, but I do think we're going to see over the summer leading up to release for a few months, they're going to keep stoking that hype fire with, periodic updates revealing certain elements, whether it's characters, stages, items, whatever. But I do think they're going to have some sort of, keeping the hype going for the website from when they open it during E3 to release.
That's not what I expected you to say.
I would hope.
Because there's one big thing we haven't talked about, and I'm stunned that I'm the first one to bring this up.
Yeah, actually, I think I know what you're talking about.
I think
Goku?
they're going to reissue the GameCube controller adapter from Wii U because it was already patched in with the Switch. And I think that we are also going to get a new GameCube Pro controller, a wireless Pro controller that is shaped like a GameCube controller, and that we're going to see it at E3. It's going to be shown off, and there might even be a bundle when the game comes out in September.
I would love that. I think
Me
they will stick
too.
with just the GameCube adapter. I agree with you. They'll re-release that as well as a wired GameCube controllers. I don't think we'll get a wireless one as much as I would love to. I think we'll just get the same things that are already out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because, the game, the fact that they are selling GameCube controllers at all for Smash, that's aimed at the hardcore crowd. But the hardcore crowd, as far as I understand it, like the really pro crowd don't want to use wireless controllers because, there are certain problems that get introduced there. They want to stick with wired controllers. So I don't know if that would make sense necessarily.
Hard to say, but I can definitely see them reissuing the adapter.
Yeah,
no doubt.
as long as you can play with the GameCube controller, that's all that matters. So.
Right.
So long as we have the controller adapter thing, yeah. Because my mindset with that is that with the wireless Pro controllers, if you plug them into the Switch, there's actually a tiny bit of input lag, which is bizarre. That if you wire your Pro controller, it lags a little bit. Whereas if you play,
That's
just
weird.
wirelessly, normally it's fine. So, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Huh, that is interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have one final prediction. It's a long shot, but I want to throw it out there. That seems like Nintendo and Square have had a really good relationship recently. Square was an early supporter with Project Octopath Traveler, and they also just recently announced or said they have a whole studio that they have open working on just Switch-only games. I'm thinking with how well Nintendo and Square are getting along now, this might be time to finally make it happen. Get Geno and Smash Brothers. That's how the conference is going to end. You can see a little twinkle and the star fly in, and there's Geno possessing a doll.
Not gonna happen.
That'd be amazing.
Don't crush my dreams, Derrick.
I'm actually with you. I
Oh,
can see it happen.
Ooh,
Like a
don't
backup.
encourage him.
I mean, we have Cloud in, there aren't any limits anymore.
Exactly. There are no limits.
Oh, that's true. There are no limits. I just don't think. I don't know. I just feel like at this point, Geno would be very cool, but I think there are other potential
Don't you
Square
go there.
characters.
Don't you go there.
I'm just saying. I'm not. Okay, well, hey, if you're going to have your long shot Square character prediction, I'm going to throw mine out. I think there is a non-zero chance that we could get Sora. I do. I'm putting it out there. A non-zero. That does mean 1% or 0.5%, but a non-zero chance.
I legitimately believe Geno has a higher chance than Sora.
Oh, yeah. Geno definitely
That's possible.
has a higher chance
Yeah,
than Sora.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because just by virtue of the fact that he's kind of a first-party character, so...
Here's the
Yeah.
crazy, wild, off the hype train rails prediction then. Here we go. You guys were talking about Konami earlier. John, you were mentioning Snake maybe coming back. Maybe Bomberman, maybe Belmont. There you go. We got 3 Konami reps. We already have Cloud. Throw in Geno and throw in Sora. We'll have 3 Square reps too. There you go. Make it even. And you know what? To even it out a little bit more, let's throw in some more Namco reps. Let's put 2 more. Let's put the Prince from Katamari Damacy in there. Let's put Don-chan from the Taiko Drum Master.
God.
Put him in there too. Throw them in there. Who else is...
We still
Capcom?
need one
Well,
more
we got
Capcom
Megaman,
rep.
we got Ryu.
Wily.
Put in Dr. Wily in his mech. Great. Put in Proto Man.
Yeah.
Make Proto Man a playable character. Put in Chun-Li.
Oh, that means we gotta get Tails and Knuckles.
Yeah, Sega, there you go. Tails and Knuckles. Oh, man.
We're like pushing 90 characters now. I love
Yeah,
it.
I know, exactly. This is I do not endorse this line of thought, by the way.
Well, since we're going all out there with the characters, I want to bring up a question from Motivation on Twitter who asks, will Goku be playable in Smash Bros?
No.
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 But I do think that Dragon Ball Fighter Z is coming to Nintendo Switch and will be announced at E3. But stay tuned for part 2.
I mean, it's on this.
I do
It was
too.
on the same list as Fortnite and Paladin, so yeah.
I think it's a safe bet. All right, is there anything else about Smash Bros. We need to touch on before we wrap it up and move on to the general Nintendo predictions?
Just one quick thing. We don't even have to discuss it. 8-player Smash is still going to be in there, and you're going to be
Yes,
able to
it
play
is.
it by doing the whole wireless
Yep.
connection thing with your Switches.
But it
Yeah.
won't be online.
No, it won't be online.
Man, I think this might be one of our longest E3 predictions ever, and it's just for one game.
The thing is, we haven't been able to do our regular Smash discussion, so we had to get it all out at once.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. We've had all this pent up ideas we had to get out there. So Sakurai better bring back the daily or weekly update or something. We need something to talk about as we get closer to release. So
Actually, Andre, there is one thing we forgot to bring up,
Oh, man.
and we don't have to discuss it for a long time, but I want to ask you guys: do you think there will be any meaningful or significant changes made to My Music or the way that music is handled in the new Smash game.
I hope so, because the way they have it now is kind of garbage. Where you can set it, you can adjust the songs on a per song basis, which is awesome. But the way they labeled it is really dumb. With like from never to
I agree.
frequent, which if you have everything set to frequent, then none of it's gonna be frequent.
Yeah.
So it should be like a percentage, or I don't know, or like a tier. They should figure out a better way for doing that.
Sure. Cool. Well, that was just one angle we hadn't touched on yet, and I just wanted to get that out there. But
I mean, I just
that
can't
was
wait
the
to
last
hear the
thing.
music.
Oh my god,
This is gonna be
I can't
amazing.
wait.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
All right, well, I think that wraps up our Smash Brothers predictions, but of course, stay tuned for part 2 coming up very soon, in which we discuss all our other predictions for the rest of Nintendo's 2018 and game catalog. Hey, Roger, where can people find you at if they want to hear even more about your thoughts in regards to E3, Smash Brothers, and everything else you do?
Sure, you can find me at RogersBase on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram. And make sure to subscribe now, because I will be doing live reactions to everything that happens at E3, and I fully expect to lose my mind. So, as I usually do with Smash Brothers related things. So.
And you can find links to all of that in the description below, as well as links to our Facebook and Twitter pages, so you can follow us for all the latest Nintendo news. And of course, stay tuned for even more from E3, including, again, our upcoming predictions very soon. Catch you later. Bye.